What's up in War Eagle War Report family? It's your guy Ike Jones, and we are back with another morning drop. Today it's Facts or Not Friday, and we are in the midst of the off-season transfer portal craziness, basketball, all of that, man. But we're gonna get into it. Y'all know how we do right here, War Report style. Let's drop it on them.
You are now listening to the War Report.
Drop. It is Friday, January 5th, 2024. And we are here doing another Facts and All Friday, man. I appreciate y'all dropping in with me. Of course, before we get into everything, we need you to do the necessary. We need you to share the video out there on social media. We appreciate everybody who continues to spread the good word of the War Report. Like the video. Give it a thumbs up right down there. Give me some hearts in the live chat. All of that, man. All of that makes me feel real good. I appreciate the love. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And we will get into these questions for y'all. Facts or Not Friday. And gonna do something a little bit. Oh my God, B Will jumping in here. What's up, man? We're gonna do something a little bit different for Facts or Not starting in the new year, B Will. This is gonna be a surprise for you and everybody else. We're going to look back at the Facts or Not questions submitted from the previous Facts or Not.
Oh no, I don't like that.
And see if they prove to be true or not. So every week before we get into this week's Facts or Not, we're gonna take a look back at the previous Facts or Not questions we got from Twitter and see how not necessarily how we did, but see if they were facts or not. Let's look.
Okay. Oh, okay. So we're not checking our record. Got it. Okay.
No, we're not. I mean, the record's there. If somebody want to know how we answered the questions, they go back and look at it.
But we're just going to be accountable for the record live in real time right now. Like, we're not going to revisit our answers.
Nah, we're not.
Okay, good. Let's do it then. Let's do it. I like that.
All right. So if y'all don't know, fan questions get submitted. And last week, the question was, Facts or Not, 7 different players record a catch in the game. Well, this proved to be a no. Not 7 different players recording a catch. Hold on. We had Cobb got a catch.
Fair
got a catch.
Camden Brown.
Jarquez got a catch.
Yeah.
Hooks got a catch. Frazier got a catch.
Tight end. Why am I blanking on his name? Fairweather.
Oh, and Fairweather. Oh, so yes, this was facts. 7 or more players. Yes, we did
Burton.
have at least.
Yeah, we've got my Burton State fly.
Burton got, so this one was facts. This one was facts. I thought there was going to be a nod, but this one was facts. All right. For some reason, it started on the third slide. Peyton Thorne throws 0
Go, please finish. No, come on. Say it, Ike. Say it.
Peyton
These were the
Thorne
words
throws
of the
0
people.
interceptions in the Music City Bowl. This was a no.
Big nah.
Auburn will have 2 players rush for 100 yards. No. Yeah, no. We didn't have 1 player rush for 100 yards in that game. And I thought we were going to at least have 1. And then get some Holden Gerner action in the second half. This was facts. We did.
We got it.
We didn't know we was going to get some Hank Brown action as well.
Yeah. We thought we were going to get some Holden Gerner action because we'd be up.
Yeah.
And that's not why we got it.
Yeah. We didn't say why.
Yeah.
Auburn.
At Yale.
I laughed at this one.
That's great.
God. All right. So we're going to get into this week's questions from Twitter. You guys go ahead and submit your questions here in the live chat, and we'll get to those in just a minute. But this week, let's start here. Abe Froman tweeting at War Drew Eagle, who says, Facts or Not, Auburn signs Judkins in the portal. Be Will, what you think?
Man, I don't know, man. This is tough. We don't know a lot about what's going on. I do know that the last day for Auburn players to hit the portal, I believe, was yesterday.
Last day was. So how it works is the school has like 48 hours before they're required to submit your name. So they give the school a time basically to rebut and be like, are you sure? And they get to go back to the player and be like, hey, so I saw you put your name in here, before we send this off, are you sure? And they could be like, man, go on, submit that paperwork, but I'm up out of here. Or it can be like, all right, well, just give us some time to figure out, in this now, especially in NIL, they renegotiating stuff and all that. So there may be players who don't show up in the portal until today or tomorrow.
Right.
But yesterday was the last day they could actually submit their paperwork.
Right. So what that means is we won't know who got approved to get in the portal. So there may still be, even though the last day for a player to go, you know what, I am going to start this process. I'm going to submit my name and whatever that online thing is. That could have been done at 11:59 last night. And we won't know yet because the player and the school could still be talking, negotiating, and then they will announce, and then they'll show up in the portal. So there is still some time for things to change on this roster. And by that, I mean, I don't know if we're going to lose another running back. I have no idea. Is it possible? Sure. Anything is possible. I think it's a little bit. I know Judkins wanted to come here out of high school, and Brian Hart's staff didn't go get him. Are we so sure he wants to come here now?
I'm not sure. If anything, I don't know nothing about that man. I've never talked to Judkins a day in my life.
Right. So, and by that I mean, a lot of Auburn people are assuming, oh, he wants to correct the mistake. He wants to get closer to home, and he wants to come play for the team he wants to come play for out of high school. I don't know that that's true. I've seen players. Malachi Nelson from USC went to Boise State. I don't know what these players want. Like, well, he didn't go. They were like, there was heavy interest. He's likely to go. You could have told me a 5-star quarterback from USC wants to go to Boise State. I know players tend to go closer to home. So I think that fares well for either Alabama or Auburn. But I also know that Alabama is slated to get a high school guy right now. His name Daniel Hill out of high school. One of the guys that we may have been looking at if, things had transpired early in the cycle. There's too many unknowns. I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna say facts. I don't know. I kind of feel it. I don't know. I kind of feel it.
Yeah, I almost want to balk on this one and say I don't know, and I have no idea. If right now I'm gonna say nah on this. I don't know if there's enough snaps to go around for Judkins with the running back room we have right now. So I'll say nah right now.
Okay.
Let's see here. Got a 2-pack from Tex Aubs 96 tweeting at Aub 96 and says facts or not, Auburn will have a different starting quarterback other than Thorne next year.
Facts.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm gonna go facts right now on this one too. Listen, everybody knows for the last couple weeks I was like, nah, it's gonna be Thorne. Yeah, I can't. The way reading the tea leaves right now, I can't see it being Peyton Thorne. I think they're moving closer and closer to giving other people an opportunity and or going to the transfer portal. So I'm going to say nah on this right now.
All right, with you. Nah.
Another one here from Texas All saying facts or nah, Auburn will hire a new offensive coach this offseason. This is a very open-ended question because do they mean new offensive coordinator or just someone new on the offensive staff?
Right.
And I'll let you answer that however you feel.
Hiring a new offensive coach does not necessarily mean that we lose one, which is also important to note as well. But I think we probably would have to lose one if we were going to get a new one. Everybody is still so down or has been down on Philip Montgomery because when he was game planning and calling plays, the offense looked bad with Thorne. And then when Hugh Freeze told us he got his hand in the mix, things look better. Not necessarily like what we expected preseason, but they look better. All right. The problem I have with that, I have a problem with it. The thing I wonder about that dynamic between Philip Montgomery and Hugh Freeze is there some acknowledgement between these guys that, hey, you're going to do it that way, I'm going to do it this way? Because Hugh Freeze spent at least 3 full games game planning and managing Thorne, and things seem to go better that way. I would expect that, all right, so we know, go with these plays, Philip Montgomery. Here are the plays that really work for him. Here's what I was trying to do strategically and how I set him up and how I warmed him up and how I got him into the game. So do that stuff when you're game playing and calling plays, right? You got it? Cool. I'm going to go recruit. You got it. Did it look like anything was different. Like if you told me Philip Montgomery was called, I didn't game plan a lot, as Hugh Freeze said. Yeah, it looked like the worst Peyton Thorne games of the year in the bowl game. Was nothing learned? Or is there a fundamental disconnection? But like, you don't really understand what I'm going for, and we've got to go a different direction. I haven't been convinced over the course of the season that Hugh Freeze disliked Philip Montgomery in any way except for game calling. Like, he did say he disapproved of the game plan. He said he wanted more RPO than we were running. I don't know. There does seem to be a disconnect there. But why wouldn't you have made that switch already is what I'm wondering. That's the biggest thing. Why wouldn't that switch have been made? If Hugh Freeze has been unhappy with Philip Montgomery, why wouldn't he have already pulled the plug on that experiment and said, well, I go get somebody else? Is his somebody else not available? And therefore he can't make that switch? Right now, I'm looking at this question, and I got to say, I'm going to say, nah. We're past time for that. You've recruited your offensive players for this cycle. I mean, maybe you get another transfer, wide receiver, quarterback. And in that case, does a Kadon Salter, Hugh Freeze recruited him and coached him. You don't need a Philip Montgomery to kind of lead the charge on that if that was somebody you were going to get. I think things stay pat. I'm going back and forth, but I think things stay pat. I think they just stay where they are on the offense.
I'm going big facts on this one. I don't. I don't see that. I said this after the bowl game. I find it very difficult to believe that Philip Montgomery is still going to be on this staff, and I think that it is likely that Auburn finds a way to bring in some other offensive staff personnel in this offseason via whether it's natural attrition or firing. The offensive staff that is currently there on the field staff will not be the offensive staff in the 2024 season. I'm going facts.
You let me do all that. You know what? Next time you going first.
That's fine. It's fine.
Because I'm going to change my answer.
Listen, your answer still need to be your answer, bro.
It is, but I don't know, man. You sound real sure. That made me change my mind.
Nah, my answer just what my answer is. I ain't get. Last one from Twitter here. Stuart Donald says, facts or not, Auburn's men's basketball will finish third or higher. Good basketball question from Stuart. Thank you.
Appreciate that, Stu.
Because what season is it, B. Will?
It's basketball season. That's what season it is.
Facts or not, Auburn men's basketball finishes third or higher in the SEC this year.
I think facts. I've said this before the season got started. I think we finished I said top 4 in the SEC. And now that the season has gotten started, I still think we're a top 4 finishing team. I've seen what a confident Bruce Pearl team looks like. We've got to witness it in 2019. Not only were they skilled, they were confident, like confidence and cohesion. And those things are coming together. A lot of experience on this team. We talked about this a little bit on Wednesday. This team does not get rattled out of some wins the way that our teams have done in the past. The past couple of years when we needed more help at point guard. The point guard situation solved. We are good. We are solid there. Broom is a better player this year. He still needs to do a little work at the free throw line, but that outside shots falling, he looks like he's when he gets the ball down low, he's ready to make a move and he makes it. He looks more decisive when the ball's in his hands on offense. Cardwell's playing the best he's ever played. Jay Will's playing the best he's ever played, buddy. I don't know how we don't finish top. I would be very surprised if we didn't finish top 3. I would say top 2 right now, the way it's looking.
Yeah, I think I can go facts on this one. The SEC is going to be a tough conference, of course, again this year. I don't know what to make of Ole Miss's early success right now. Tennessee looks like they have an actual go-to scorer, and they're still good defensively. Mississippi State actually looks decent, but they're still very erratic in their ability to score consistently. But they're better this year than I think that they were last year. They might actually hit a 3-pointer this year in the game when we play them. Texas A&M is going to be a tough out just because for some reason it seems like they have our number. Arkansas is talented, but I actually do think that Auburn's a better team, whether we beat them or not in this game coming up this weekend. Is irrelevant to what I think the outcome of the season's going to be. I think Florida's still a little bit away. Georgia's still a little bit away. South Carolina's surprisingly good this year so far. Don't know what to make of their non-con so far.
Okay.
but they've been surprisingly good. I think that I like the South Carolina coach. Vandy is not good right now. They lost a lot in the offseason.
Yeah.
Who have I not mentioned that actually matters here? LSU, I don't feel like they're going to finish very high in the conference this year.
Yeah, Bama's not that good either.
I say that matters.
I got
Yeah, I think that's everybody that matters.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I think top 3 is definitely a thing that Auburn can accomplish this year.
Who would we be jockeying for that top 3 with? Who do you think will finish in the top 4 regardless
Like
of
I said,
order?
Tennessee, the teams that I think are going to finish in the top half of the conference: Tennessee, Ole Miss, South Carolina, Auburn,
Kentucky.
and I did not mention Kentucky.
That's what I was wondering.
Kentucky. Kentucky makes it interesting because I think that Tennessee, Ole Miss, and Kentucky are real.
I haven't watched Ole Miss yet. I just know that their schedule hasn't been very impressive, so I'm not paying them no attention.
Impressive schedule, but they're a talented team, and they can score in a variety of ways. They have good defense. They have not been classic Chris Beard defense good, but they're good.
Yeah.
And I like South Carolina. Ooh, I forgot about Kentucky when I was sitting here naming names. Tennessee, Kentucky, Auburn, Ole Miss, South Carolina.
Okay, of those 5, who's most likely to fade? And Texas A&M. Can't forget about them.
Yeah, Texas
So
A&M.
that's out of those 6 teams, which 2 are most likely to fade?
Just because the non-con wasn't very impressive, Ole Miss and South Carolina are the most likely to, because they just haven't been challenged yet. And so I don't know how good they're going to be down the stretch, having not had to do anything to really earn. I won't say earn, because you got to win the games regardless. We lost to App State. We should have won that game as far as talent is concerned.
Yeah.
But they just, haven't had to face stiff competition. But I think that those teams are actually good. But the most likely to fade those, and then I'd say the third most likely to fade out of that is actually Texas A&M. Texas A&M has looked not as good this year.
I think teams are on to Buzz's free throw strategy. But I'm actually with you on those. I would change out Texas A&M for Tennessee just because. Well, I actually see P-Pass said it right here. Tennessee always. Rick Barnes is just an okay coach. He's going to get him to coach defensively.
But they're going to finish in the top 3 in the conference consistently, though.
I would not bank on Tennessee being in that top 3. I think it's most likely Kentucky and either Texas A&M or Ole Miss. Yeah, just because I know that those are 2 good coaches. Buzz is a good coach. Beard's a good coach. I trust their coaching. I don't even know who the coach for South Carolina is. That doesn't mean he's not good.
Lamont Paris, I believe, is his last name.
I've heard him before. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He is good. He's young, but he doesn't have a lot of experience, but I like him a lot.
Okay. We shall see. But I just don't trust Rick Barnes at all. So yeah.
All right. Well, that is it for the questions submitted on Twitter. Y'all make sure you get your questions in on Twitter if you want to have a better chance of getting them in first here on Facts or Nah. We are going to get over into the comment section, but before we do, we got to hear a word from the sponsor of the morning drop, as always, is Rogue Shop. Make sure you head over to rogueshop.com. Use code RAPPORT when you do. Get a little something off your purchase. America's #1 online dispensary is the Rogue Shop. They've got remedies and for whatever ails you, that is sleep, stress, pain, anxiety. Rogue Shop's got something for you, and we appreciate them for continuing to support the morning drop here on the War Report. Let's get over here into these comments and see what we have from submitted Facts or Not questions in the live chat. We will start with P-Pass, who says, Facts or Not, Auburn fans relax after Saturday's game. P-Pass, that's not a real thing. Auburn fans don't know how to relax, which, it's why they need to head over to rogueshop.com and use code RAPPORT, because they need to find a way to relax. It's not a real thing. Auburn fans don't relax. They always panic. Always.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Let's see. Tatiana says, Facts or Not, Cadillac is going to be off going off to be an NFL coach?
Man, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I just heard this rumor last night. I have no idea. None. Zero. Well, I'm okay. Let me say what I want to happen. Nah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my orange and blue heart says no, but I want Caddy to do what's best for him. Brain says if he wants to go back and be an NFL coach, then listen, man, more power to you, man. I want to see Caddy do whatever makes him feel happy. As long as he don't go coach for another SEC team, I ain't mad at whatever move Cadillac makes.
Yeah. If he had to leave, I would prefer.
Yeah,
I would
if
prefer
you gotta
that.
go, the NFL. Yeah,
Yes,
all right, cool.
yes.
Yeah, man, you can't turn
Please.
down the NFL, man. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I don't want to see it happen. But listen, it is what it is. Tatiana back in here, faxing our Ryan Williams switches to Auburn.
I think it's covertly. Peyton Thorne having a very bad bowl game may have solved some problems for us ahead of time. One of which being, you don't have to look at that quarterback and say, that's who's going to be throwing to me. The coach and the staff get a renewed vigor and enthusiasm for finding the best possible player at quarterback, even if he's already in the building and in the quarterback room, instead of just riding with the guy because he's got the most experience running with you already. I hope that is indeed what happens. Whether or not Ryan Williams is going to come, he doesn't seem as flip-floppy as the other kids seemed around this time. Like before Perry Thompson flipped, he wasn't like saying roll tide in interviews. And, it's like he wasn't going to Bama all the time and stuff like that. Ryan Williams still does the things. He still acts like a Bama commit. And that makes me go, I don't know, man. Like, I know they're recruiting you hard. I know Coach Freeze recruiting them. Marcus Davis recruiting them. The players that are already signed are recruiting them. But it's like, what do you really want? Now, his recruiter left and went to Texas A&M. Holloman, the Bama coach, the wide receiver coach. Maybe that has an effect. A lot of the Bama wide receivers, I don't know how much of a connection he had to them, the guys who are already on the team, because these relationships come into play. The relationship with the coach, the relationship with the players. We know he has a good relationship with our players, our signees. And I'm assuming he has a very good relationship with Hugh Freeze and Marcus Davis. Going right now, I'd say it's probably 50-50 straight up. But again, I'm going to go with what I want to hear, which is facts. I'm going to say Ryan Williams comes here. Yes. Why not? Because of the QB play. But still, why not? Why else not?
Yeah, I mean, I do think that it is close to 50-50 right now, and that means Auburn wins. So facts.
Yep. That's how I go.
Yeah.
Boom.
When in doubt, Auburn wins. Knox Cleveland jumps in. Faction now. Auburn goes to Archie and takes over their trap.
I think this is facts. I think we win that game this weekend.
Listen,
I know road game, blah, 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 blah. I think we win. I think this team is ready.
It's going to be a tough game. It's a tough environment. They're going to bring their A+ game for this one. I just think this Auburn team is actually good enough to go get a dub versus Arkansas. I'm going to go facts with this one, and this is a little bit of like Auburn bias saying this as well.
Yeah.
Because Auburn has not looked good in their only true road game that they had. They lost the only true road game that they've had this entire season so far, and that was at Appalachian State. But I think that was a cautionary tale for this team to say, hey, listen, man, you better go out there and play in these other environments, or you're not going to come out there with a win. I do think that this Arkansas team is better than they've shown so far this season, but I do think that Auburn still has not shown their like best game on the road yet, and Coach Pearl's gonna have them ready to go. I'm gonna go with my fan heart and say facts on this.
Okay. Facts too.
Thomas Jones jumps in. Facts or not, Auburn will sign someone in the portal that no one saw coming.
I mean, I'm sure that doesn't mean it's going to be a big one. There could be some.
I mean, shoot, if we they've already signed people nobody saw coming. I didn't. Nobody. You couldn't tell me. I was like, oh man, you know what? I think Auburn's gonna target Robert Lewis and Gage Keys.
So yeah, I think this is facts. They've got some things they want to fill out. I'm sure. I know we still need an offensive lineman or two as far as depth that they're looking for. I know they're still looking for potentially a outside wide receiver to start because of course it's going to be a bunch of young guys. I say facts. I say facts for sure. We're going to get somebody that wasn't on the radar. Salter's getting all the attention right now, but there's going to be a left field like what? And yeah, it'll probably happen next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'll go facts as well. Larry Hillman, facts or nah, controversial, but if Hugh Freeze starts Peyton Thorne with Perry Thompson and Cam Coleman and it does not pan out, then both receivers transfer.
I've been on this is part of the reason why you got to get rid of Thorne, at least not in the starting spot. And that's because you can't play around with these guys' eligibility. You can't waste their time. They are premier talents. They are star wide receivers as far as prospects coming out of high school. You can play around with the guys we've had on the team. A lot of people will say whatever about these players. I think they could play better than they showed. However, you don't really lose a lot if those guys just get disgruntled and go. The production wasn't there. I don't think they were elite players necessarily at wide receiver. So these guys, though, like you can't play with this. And also you can't play with their eligibility because that sets a bad precedent for the next elite wide receiver you want to go get. Oh, well, come here. Oh, yeah, but you had that dude throwing to him and he wasn't good. You ain't finna waste my time. No, thank you. He can't play around with it. That's why I don't think Peyton Thorne wins this job next year. So will that happen? If he starts, will they transfer? I think that will be a good chance of a facts on that. So I'm gonna say facts.
I'm going to go nah on this. I don't think that either of those young men were sold on year one success. And so they're not expecting to come in here. They knew who the quarterback was when they signed up for to play for Auburn currently. It will have to be other things involved with like how it is in the locker room and other. It's not going to be about Peyton Thorne and his success or not for them in year one. I think year two,
That's true.
whether or not because they were sold
signed
on
with Walker White.
They were sold on the future that they have with Walker White coming up. Now,
Yeah.
if Walker White goes out there and he craps it up and they're like, all right, look, y'all picked Peyton Thorne and he wasn't the dude. And y'all sold me on Walker White. He ain't looking like the dude. I'm out of here. I think you can make it through year one. And that is kind of what I think the coaching staff has been preaching and they're hoping for with those young men. I think you can make it through year one. But if it doesn't make it through year one, I don't think it's solely because of this. That will probably factor into it, right? Because you're just losing so much, locker room falls apart, all that kind of stuff, right? But I don't think it's about Peyton Thorne and Peyton Thorne alone. It's like, man, he ain't the one. I'm out of here. Because Peyton Thorne's not coming back that next season. If Peyton Thorne had another year eligibility and they was like, all right, well, I know it didn't go good this time, but we riding in. Nah, they'd be like, look, bro. Hey.
I've seen enough.
Yeah. I don't need a year two of this.
Getting that elite cardio in.
Yeah. So I don't think year one is going to be the make or break for either of these young men here at Auburn. AU in the USMC says, facts or not, we have a new running back and QB by the end of next week.
Oh, so we're talking Judkins. We're talking Salter.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to know about Salter. We will know if he comes or not in the next week or two. I'd say by the end of next week. So if he's going to happen, he's going to happen soon. Honestly, I think if we don't get Salter, then we're going to be out of the QB race. That's the only one that makes sense because Hugh Freeze knows him and he coached him.
It's not the only one that makes sense to me, but continue.
Okay, well, that's another conversation, another drop, another show perhaps. But in the next week, if we're talking 8 days, ooh, that means Judkins would have to pop and Salter has to pop. Ooh, man, that's nah. I'm gonna say nah. Something doesn't go quite to plan with this because it hasn't really when it comes to the transfer portal for us. So I'm gonna say nah. I don't know exactly what. I'm just gonna say nah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say nah on this as well. I don't see us having. I don't know if we get either, honestly. But if of the two happen, it would be the quarterback, in my opinion. In the next week, but I'm going to say nah as of right now. I don't see us by the end of next week having new QB and running back. Mm-hmm. Eugenia Akira, says facts or nah. the starting QB for next year is already on the roster?
Listen, man. Let me speak for myself. Peyton Thorne, no. Holden Geriner, Hank Brown. I have no idea whether either one of them can be good playing quarterback for this team and in this conference, because neither one has been adequately prepared to play. They haven't been equipped to play, and they haven't had the opportunity to play and figure stuff out, be bad so you can get better and all that stuff. That would have to be worked out in camp, and I don't know if after a 6-7 season, Hugh Freeze would be content to just let things work themselves out and kind of figure it out. I think if we had gone 8-4 this season, he'd have a little more rope, but he went 6-7. I think there's going to be more urgency to get things done. I just don't see a world where he can let Peyton Thorne come back as a starter and a guy who has never started the game come out and be the starter as well. That's why I think the Salter move makes sense. I'm going to say, nah, it's probably Salter, assuming that deal goes through, and I think it will. I think that he's going to be the starter going into next season.
Yeah, I mean, I want to hedge on this because I do think that we're back in the market for a transfer portal QB. I like some of the QBs we have on our roster right now. So if we go to the transfer portal, that's going to be your starter. Listen, again, you can't sell me on QB competition with a transfer guy anymore. That's not a thing anymore.
Yeah.
There aren't very many quarterbacks who are going to come in and want to be a backup quarterback unless they've got a bunch of years of eligibility. And then I feel like that ruins you with your backups that you already have on the roster. So I'm going to say, I think we get a transfer QB right now, man. I'm going to say, he's not on the roster right now. I think that you should go and just let one of the guys that's on the roster be the guy and just take. If you're gonna, here's my thing. This is my whole thought on this.
All right, where's that?
You were willing to take your lumps for next season already,
right?
Because you had committed to saying, "Hey, we're going." Peyton Thorne is the leading win total quarterback, whatever it was he said about wins for returning QB. You had made up in your mind you were going to take your lumps with Peyton Thorne next season anyway. Why not take your lumps with an unproven quarterback if you're going to do that and set yourself up for a succession of quarterback in your own room?
I agree. I think that would have been the plan if you win one, maybe two more games. You beat New Mexico State. You hold on against Bama. And now you've got a lot more slack to work with. And Peyton Thorne doesn't just look terrible in the bowl game. Then you've got some slack to work with, and you don't have to go hunting. It's like, oh, well, you know what? We won 8 games. Maybe not if the bowl game went better. Okay. We worked with something. We feel like we had a good year, and we've got some guys that we really believe in. He doesn't have that anymore. That's why I'm with you. You got to go to the transfer portal. I think it makes sense because whatever Hank Brown or Holden Geriner were going to be, they were going to be that whether Peyton Thorne was bad in front of them or not. Like, whatever their potential is, you've got to put them out there to see what that is. And unfortunately, what happened ahead of them with Peyton Thorne and his play this season, that actually probably affected what those guys will get a chance to do going forward because things look so bad. There's going to be more urgency to put more wins on the field. Unfortunately, I don't think they're going to get the look that they deserve in 2024. But, I mean, that's kind of what you got to do. Don't lose so many games in 2023. And you got slack in 24 to let your young guys get some burn. But unfortunately, that was not
but like I said, I think that they were already in that mindset of 2024 was going to be we're not going for the gusto championship year because they weren't going all out for a transfer quarterback then.
Right.
And you already knew what the results were going to be for 2023. You were 6-6 when you made that statement. Now, you hadn't lost the game, and you were thinking my lumps are going to be with Peyton Thorne. But once you lose the game, you say to yourself, open QB competition, and why not take your lump? If you were willing to take those lumps, did the bowl game change that much with what you feel like the expectation needs to be for your win total, not for your offense, not for your win total in 2024? And I don't know that it changed that much. I just think that it changed your decision about quarterback. If it increased the urgency for the win total, great. I just don't want him to go out there making desperate moves to try to do that. So again, starting QB, I think right now they're really looking at transfer portal as an option. So I'm going to go nah on this because if it's a transfer, they're going to be the starter. So I'll go nah.
Right.
Quick one here from Karen F, who says Faxonov Freeze calls the offensive plays next season.
It definitely depends on who the quarterback is, but at this point, I think whether it's an experienced Salter or, God forbid, a Peyton Thorne, it's got to be Freeze, because that's the only time we've really seen the offense look good is when he was calling the plays. I think it's got to be him. I think it's got to be.
Yeah, I'm going to go facts on this. I think Coach Freeze is working really hard to solidify his recruiting organization, so he feels like he can leave that in someone else's hands and he can focus on the offensive play calling, which is also another big reason why I don't know if Philip Montgomery makes it to next year. So, and last one again, Karen F says, Faxonal, the reason the tune changed about getting a portal QB is was an influx of money for Freeze to go get a portal QB after the bowl game that wasn't there before.
I mean, honestly, maybe facts. Ike outlined on the Wednesday show. He said, well, listen, let's see what Hugh Freeze has actually been saying over the course of the season. And it wasn't like it was the greatest endorsement of Peyton Thorne ever. But before the bowl game, he was told, hey, that's it. You pick the guy, make it work. And he was doing his best. If this is who you have, like, what else are you going to say? Like, we're not bemoaning. We're not faulting Hugh Freeze for endorsing the guy that he knew he had. If limitations are placed on what else you can get, you say, this is what I got to work with. Let's make it work. Yes, we get it. The purse strings matter in college football right now more than ever. Yes, that decision probably came by like, no, anything but this. Fine, go get what you want. I think there's a good chance that happens. So I'm going to say facts.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there has to have been some additional conversations had about trying to go get somebody out of the portal in order for them to change their tune. No, influx of money or not, I think that there was some decisions being made that said, all right, we need to look at this again. And in order for us to give it a full look, we need to also be able to evaluate the transfer portal. So transfer portal, I think, was off the table before the bowl game, back on the table now. What changed to make that a thing? I don't know. I ain't checking nobody's bank account. They definitely ain't telling me is. If they did, I asked for some. But hey, listen, hopefully we get to the right place with the quarterback situation and everybody can go into 2024 feeling good about the Auburn offense. Good. All right, we appreciate you guys dropping in with us. Another great morning drop. Again, Morning Drop is brought to you by the Rogue Shop. Make sure you head over there, rogueshop.com, using code RAPPORT. Before y'all get out of here, like the video, subscribe to the channel, share the content with somebody else. We'll be back at you all with more content coming up soon. Auburn basketball this weekend. I'm not going to do any more film reviews this weekend, I don't think. But if major news drops, y'all know, keep your notification bells on. We will be right here to talk about it. Till the next time, and as always, War Eagle.
War Eagle.
Drop!